Red dye number three has been banned by the FDA here in the US. So that means the big food companies can no longer use red dye number three to make food, to put in our food. And big pharma can no longer use red dye number three in the medications that they produce. Why? Because they found that two laboratory studies show that red dye number three causes cancer. Now, they first will say in the FDA website, and I'm going to show you, that says it's only in male rats. Okay, but they are only looking at certain research that validates what they believe. They're not looking at the complete research. But here's the fact though. The fact is they still banned it because now they're looking at the complete research. It shows that red dye number three causes cancer and it affects children the most. It causes attention deficit disorders, inattentiveness, restlessness in children. And children are the population that is most affected by red dye number three. Why? Because the food that has red dye number three are the foods that kids love. But let's go into a little background to understand what all happened and how did we get here. So here's the US.gov. So obviously the government regulates the FDA. What is the FDA? We have to understand what is the FDA and what are they supposed to do, right? So you can see on this website, the USA.gov, FDA, they're the Food and Drug Administration. This is what they're supposed to be doing, even though they're not doing it effectively so far. They're responsible for protecting the public health by assuring the safety, efficacy, and security of human veterinary drugs, biological products, medical devices in our nation's food supply, cosmetics, and products that emit radiation. The FDA also provides accurate science-based health information to the public. So it does a lot of things, but the two main things that we want to look at today is the two main functions. The FDA is supposed to make sure our food is safe. That's number one. Number two, it's supposed to provide accurate data, accurate information, right? It says accurate science-based health information. I don't like to use the word the science-based because science can be manipulated. And if you followed me here on my channels, you know that science can be manipulated. So let's just keep with the FDA is supposed to make sure our food is safe and they're supposed to provide accurate information to the public, right? But on January the 15th in 2025, they revoked red dye number three, right? And so because they found that red dye in high levels cause cancer, right? And now what's their, excuse? Well, they say that, oh, but typically it doesn't affect humans. That doesn't affect humans. Well, Consumer Reports is a Consumer Reports website. They said that, let's see, an email also director found that even high doses of red dye number three have no effect on humans because it's poorly absorbed. But considerable research suggests otherwise. So more research, when you start looking for the real research, instead of looking for research that backs up, you know, probably this is just assumption. There's always a money trail. But why would the FDA, who's supposed to guarantee the safety of our food, allow man-made chemical into our food? Why would they allow that, right? Um, so after other research, they have seen that red dye number three is linked to hyperactivity and neurobehavioral effects in children. A double-blinded study controlled their diets for several weeks at a time, first without artificial. Not all children were affected in noticeable ways, but the ones who seemed to be more sensitive to the diet showed more inattentiveness, hyperactivity, restlessness, and even small amounts, just 1 milligrams a day. Okay, so the research shows that red dye, it affects our children definitely, and at high dose it can cause cancer. So you're probably thinking, oh, but other countries may not ban red dye, right? Because the U.S. supposedly we have the most resources, the wealthiest country. We should have the best resources available. So our research should be the most accurate, right? No, not always. And so the U.S., this is from the Austin American Statesman, it's a newspaper in my city. They found, according to the Center for Science and the Public Interest, the European Union banned red dye number three in 1994. We are in 2025, 30 years later, then the US bans it. So for 30 years, the FDA has allowed this chemical that is toxic to our kids, and it's toxic to adults too in high doses. So for 30 years, right? 30 years, the FDA, the US FDA has allowed that. But in Europe, they banned it 30 years ago, right? Now you may think, oh, what about other countries? Well, other countries like Japan, China, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand, they have all banned this chemical. US is so far behind. Now you got to think about why. Right. And that's for you to understand. I'm not here to do conspiracy theory, but I'm just giving you all so far, the due diligence that I'm doing. This is Associated Press website. You can find all these on the website. When the FDA declined to allow red 3, the red dye in cosmetics and topical drugs in 1990. So in 1990, the FDA already knew this red dye number 3 was toxic. And that's why they did not allow it into cosmetics. Cosmetics are things you put on your skin. So if it's not good enough, if it's not safe enough to put it on our skin, why would they allow it? Why would they say it's safe enough for us to put it into our body? You got to think about that, right? This is what I'm saying. The FDA's job, coming back, the FDA's job is to make sure our food is safe and the information they provide is accurate. But up until 2025, until this ban right here, the FDA website said red dye number 3 was safe. So think about that. So for those, when you have, you're talking to your physicians, your healthcare practitioners, or any of your friends or whatever, and they're arguing with you and saying, hey, you may be taking this supplement or this natural herb, and your physician or practitioners or whatever, they say, oh, but it's not FDA approved. It's not FDA did not say that that what you're taking is safe. Well, the FDA does not always provide accurate information. Does there need to be a accountability for FDA? Absolutely. But here's to show you this case, red dye number 3. I have other cases to show that FDA, I'm not saying the FDA is bad. We need the FDA. Majority of the time, they do a great job in preventing, toxins from getting into our bodies, especially the ones that kill us pretty quickly. Red dye number 3 kills us slowly. It kills us so slow, right? So they do a great job in making sure that the things that kill us fast, well, not all of them, as we've seen with medications, they approve medications that kill us fast, but hey, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So medications, food. Let's see if I can get a list of foods. I don't have a list of foods. Let's go about medications. So red dye, if you are taking these medications, you got to be careful, okay? Because red dye is also in medications. So why would the FDA approve big pharmaceutical companies who make these medications and for those of y'all who think, whether some of the vaccines or medications are 100% safe, they're not. This is a proof of it, that the FDA allows red dye number 3 to be on your medication. So you're taking this medication that's supposed to be helping you, but it's coated with a toxin, right? So it says right here, let's see, it is mostly in foods that use like cake decorating, candies, popsicles. It's where is the medic? Oh, here's all the some examples of medications using red dye number 3. So acetaminophen, Tylenol, right? Doxycycline, gabapentin. These are for commonly used for neuropathy. Omeprazole, heartburn, uh, Ramipril, high blood pressure medications. So in many medications, red dye number 3 is used, right? So you got to be careful of what is. And lastly, yeah, I would say I'll leave you with this. So what is this? What is my summary, right? I'm not saying, hey, hate the FDA. No, FDA, they do part of their job, which is great. They don't do all of their job. Talk to your senators, talk to your representatives, to hold the FDA more accountable, and not be bought by big food and big pharma. But the key is here. Here's my point of sharing this, right? There is no one source that you can rely upon. And unfortunately, there's no one source you can rely upon for accurate information. Because the FDA, I just showed you, the FDA says they're responsible for accurate health information, but yet they have been saying for over the past 30 years that red dye is safe for you. And now they found it's not, right? So even the FDA website is not 100% accurate. So for someone to say that one specific website, just because it's a medical organization, just because it's a government organization, does not mean it is 100% accurate. You have to do your due diligence, look around, see where all, and also look at who you trust, right? If you trust the everything the government does, everything the medical association does, then you trust them. But I'm just saying, here, it could be a chance, like red dye number three. And I've got other examples, but red dye number three is a clear example because it's recent ruling, right? Something that other countries have banned for 30 years because they knew it was toxic, but the US refused to do that. Who benefits? Follow the money trail. Really do your due diligence and don't just automatically trust organizations, okay, just because they are well known, um, whether it's a government, whether it's a medical association, just because they're well known doesn't make them right. Okay, so do your due diligence. I hope this helps you and to making sure you can take care of your health and your family's health.